fantastic fest in Austin, and it was very much inspired by festivals like this. So I'd heard about it and was very surprised and happy when I heard that they would have a tribute. I love France, so I wanted to come be here. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. For me, horror, fantasy, sci-fi, I mean, it's always been around. People have enjoyed it in many different ways. Before there were movies, there were books, and then there were, graphics and comics, and now and television as a big mainstay of it. But film has kind of always been there. Every new filmmaker that comes brings their thing to it. And I love festivals like this that celebrate the filmmaker and the fantasy filmmaker, because that's what keeps it evolving and keeps it fresh. That has been an exciting thing, to have your own television network. I wish it wasn't only in the States. I wish you could watch it. It's fun. I mean, I get to program anything I want. So it's my favorite genre films, my favorite horror films, kung fu, fantasy, science fiction, classic television shows we license, like Miami Vice and Starsky and Hutch, and then we create shows. Like I have From Dusk Till Dawn. We're about to start our next season. For me, television allows me to do a long-form storytelling, or just like shows where I can go to a filmmaker that I know and make that a show. I'm still just been doing a lot of my own, music in my movies, and it's not because I don't want to work with a composer. Usually I can't afford one. That's usually the when you go over schedule and shooting, the first place they take money from to pay for the shoot is from the music budget. But fortunately, I carry a guitar on set, so a lot of times I've been composing the music without knowing it throughout the production. So I've just gotten to where I just compose my own music throughout the making of the film. Well, I enjoy the freedom that special effects allows today. I mean, it used to be, how are we going to do this effect? Is it possible to do this idea? Now anything is possible. When you see an effect, you can appreciate it as being a great effect, but sometimes it pulls you a little bit out of the movie. So sometimes it's kind of like a money problem. You wash away your problem with an effect. Sometimes you want to try to be more creative and figure out a way to you don't break the illusion for people. In my movies, anything, whether it's a dog, a child, a woman, or man, to look their best, because they represent the audience, and I want people to fall in love with every character. I remember when I shot George Clooney in Dusk Till Dawn, he was trying to transition from television to movies. And I knew that he would just look more powerful on screen if I was always sitting and he was always standing, and I'm always looking up at him, like the audience is looking up to him. I wanted to keep some of that old movie star quality of the era I grew up watching. I watched Hitchcock movies. I watched the MGM musicals. I mean, you wanted to be, friends with those stars because they seemed magical. I wanted to preserve that magic. The theme of family comes up a lot, in my movies, just because I think that's just, I was just surrounded by so much family all growing up. That was my worldview. I came from a family of 10 kids. My comic strip was based on my brothers and sisters. My first films starred my brothers and sisters, and they were my crew, because they're all just sitting around anyway. So we said, let's make a movie together. And I wrote a lot of my own scripts. So they always say you end up writing what you know, and what I knew the most, that was most important to me, was family. So I ended up always putting that somehow into any movie that I did, because it's what made it relevant for me to spend the time away from my family to make a film. I'd want to make it on a theme that, even unconsciously, that meant something to me. So I think that's why it goes back to family. For other people, it's other things. Some people, family isn't at all important. They didn't grow up that way. They come from a different kind of household. But me growing up Mexican, American, United States, in a family of that size, that's kind of always on your mind.